So this was my 1,000-day nightmare right there. There it is, from this story to the next. This is called Day 1, Prison 2. A typical meal in county jail would consist of the all-time most disgusting and ever-present Nutriloaf, also known as punishment blocks. These all-in-one meals supposedly contained everything a person needs to stay alive, except hope. I still don't know what was in them. If the jail kahunas felt generous, we would get noodles and gravy over potatoes, with bread pudding for dessert, the 4 starch groups. I gorged nevertheless. Like so many crackheads, I had the gaunt look of a POW. The police who arrested me could have folded me up and put me in their pocket. I was sucked up. Through a combination of starch, no exercise or sunlight, and bad water, I ballooned from 135 to 180 pounds. I was pale as a ghost and covered in a rash by the end of my 5 months awaiting federal prison. Sucked up or puffed up, I wasn't sure which was worse. Prison never looked so good. Having done a brief stint in state prison, I had an idea of what awaited. Upon my arrival at the start of my 115-month federal prison sentence, I got situated in the flats. The flats were a triangular-shaped open area in the middle of the housing unit that contained 11 bunk beds for 22 inmates on the waiting list for a cell. It was also known as the fishbowl. "Where are you from, dog?" I was asked from the top-tier convict contingency. All eyes were on me. "Seattle," I responded. I knew not to say too much. There was plenty of chatter as to who I was and what I was all about. I was shrinking. It was an event. What they wanted to know was what I had done to get there, and did I have any co-defendants, and had I ratted on anybody to save my own ass. As they pressed for details, I earned a clean bill of health, a bank robber with no co-defendants. I got a nod from above, an indication that my answer was satisfactory. I blew back up into a prideful balloon and made my way out to the big yard on a line movement to and from the cell blocks that occurred every hour. I was happy to be away from the concrete, claustrophobic confines of county jail where dominoes slammed on wood tables reverberated through my head. Away from where criminals not yet sentenced paced back and forth mumbling to themselves. Away from where "I don't give a fuck" ruled the day. Away from where Menudo was a kitchen stable. Away from where an inmate said to me, "I used the shit out of that shit." And away from where I replied, "I have no doubt." It was summer, and the stress of what King County Jail had to offer in all its iterations was behind me. It was pleasant, despite the minor detail of the razor wire fence and guards with shotguns to consider. After the drudgery of jail, prison was a relief. I felt almost free. I plopped myself down with my extra 40 pounds of starch while wedged into my temporary pumpkin suit. I was racked from being chained hands and feet to 15 other bloated, smelly dudes in a bus for 4 hours on the way down. I had not yet been to the laundry for a proper set of prison attire. While the other stylish inmates wore olive khakis and brogan boots, I still wore the county scrubs that screamed fish to an ocean of sharks. I convinced myself nobody noticed me. I just needed to chill out and take it all in. "You know you ain't got to be wearing that stupid shit, dog." This helpful information was offered for free. 3 or 4 times within the span of 10 minutes in my newfound dog park. So much for not being noticed. The beach was a strip of the big yard exclusive to the white boy convicts who worked on their tans and showed off their guns, slang for biceps. I was practically translucent right about then and fit right in, though it would be quite some time before I could unholster my set of guns. I watched the various cliques make plans and hushed conversations and deliver sideways glances at each other. It was apparent to me that given the opportunity, many would act on their bad intentions. I watched as the guards radioed each other in anticipation, while the shotguns rode in trucks around the perimeter of the fence. I felt a little more sorry for what I had done. Nervous energy took over. I started to pick in the grass while I surveyed my surroundings. Soon my fidgeting morphed into digging in the dirt until I grabbed the end of cold steel, an unexpected surprise. I slid it up and out of its hidey hole, while taking a quick look around to see if anyone else saw me. I deemed the coast clear and reinserted it into the earth from where it came, where this homemade shank had been placed until the day that something jumped off and, if called upon, would inflict serious damage. I got the feeling that this shank was not alone. The relief I'd felt just moments earlier melted away. It dawned on me my 115-month sentence would take damn near 10 years to complete. It's a mystery where this extra steel would have come from. As I later discovered, everything is meticulously accounted for in prison. The guards would periodically lock us down in our cells, doing a sweep of the yard with metal detectors, meting out collective punishment for weapons found. The rats would then come forward, give up a name or two, and nibble on some cheese in the form of favorable treatment. With lockdown over and the losers carted off to the prison within the prison, the game would start all over again. Stolen steel, new shanks made, new hiding spots put to use, as it has been played since the first convict spent the first day in the first prison.